The bluest of waters, amazing nature, and the most pristine beaches. This is exactly what the Philippines stands for me. One of my favorite places of all time, and today I want to take you along on my last trip, the full itinerary, to possibly give you a few ideas for your next trip, but also connect it to the factor of cost. How much can you get for $100? What did I pay for what? And I really want to do both sides. On the one side, the affordable option, maybe the budget backpacker, hostel, street food, local transportation, but also, let's say, a little bit of a different experience with nicer hotels, maybe a little bit more exclusive tours over multiple days to islands that are not as commonly visited and maybe you haven't seen like that before. Before we're gonna get into the video, a big thank you to today's video sponsor, Epidemic Sounds. For the past few months, all of the music you have been hearing in my videos I got from this platform. And you can get a 30-day free trial with the link in the description. Cancel at any time and enjoy the great sounds. But with that, let's get into the video. So we left Germany going to the Philippines, did a little stop over in Singapore. As for us, this is the gateway. Most of the affordable flights are going through there. Had a few good days, but it's not as easy to stay on the budget in Singapore. So we moved on to Manila, landed in the airport and catched a taxi. In the big cities, it's really easy. You download the Grab application or just use one of the local taxis. For the airport, I think it was like 300 pesos, so like $7-8 divided by 2. I would say it's a reasonable amount, but overall, when you're in the city, $3 to like $5, you can get almost anywhere with a taxi if you want to do that. So during our stay, we stayed in the business district of Makati, which is definitely a little bit more expensive also when it comes to accommodation. So we had to pay almost $40, I believe, for a nice condo in a super nice area where we have been directly in the action. And I gotta say, I really love like the city experience, the big city vibes of the business district of Makati or the BGC area that is not too far away from there as well. And just strolling around, maybe taking a Grab for a few dollars, going to a different area. When it comes to eating out and getting a meal, I do have to say that in the big restaurants, it is fairly expensive, maybe like 30% less as in the Western world, but yet if you want to stay on a budget, the food courts for $2 to $3, you can get a super nice meal. If you want to mess up your energy levels and go to any of the fast food chains, the local ones, I would recommend Jollibee or Chowking, and it's super affordable. For a few dollars, you can get a very solid meal. So before leaving Manila, we also got to stay at a really cool upscale hotel, the Marriot Manila, with a few hotels that we had a collaboration with. If you're interested, I will link them below in the description if you want to check up on availability and the prices. And I do have to say that with the big chains like the Marriott Manila, it's closely priced to Western standards. And we really had amazing 2 nights at the Marriott Manila, and it also goes to show that you can really do it both ways. And if you're more of a traveler who really enjoys to stay at those upscale hotels, you're also gonna find a few really great options in Manila, I'm sure, and the Marriott Manila has been pretty amazing. So from there, we catched a budget flight for around $20 going to Palawan and to Puerto Princesa. We landed, got a bus going to El Nido for, I believe, around 500 peso, which is like $10, a little less than that. So after a bumpy ride, we arrived in El Nido and we got to stay at the RC Villas. And I gotta say, the scenery in El Nido is absolutely amazing. One of my favorite places, but it is also one of the favorite places of everyone. So it's a very touristy area, and with that, on the one side you have a lot of option when it comes to different places to go to, different dining opportunities. The price is also a lot higher than it is usually in the Philippines. So for example, at this one place, the Athena Cafe, for a dinner we paid, I believe, like $7 or $8, which is still very reasonable, but pretty much double the amount of what you usually would pay in the Philippines. So that's just something you have to expect. So there we rented out a scooter. Usually they go for like 250 pesos. If you haggle, you can maybe get it down to 200, so like $4 or $5 for a scooter. Do a day trip to one of the many amazing beaches like the Napcan beach. So that is how we spend our time, and from El Nido we embarked on a 3-day island tour with the Quiluma Island Camp to some of the really lesser known islands between El Nido and Coron. With them on their huge boat, we have visited around like 10 secluded islands. Very often we have been the only people on these islands, and I gotta say, the blues of water is the most amazing islands that I've definitely ever visited. We've been staying with them in their camp, in the local Filipino huts. We have been eating locally sourced fish and veggies. Absolutely amazing experience. And I believe currently they charge for this trip around 15,000 pesos, which is pretty much a little less than $300. So for less than $100 you get really the full package, amazing fresh food, the best island experience, and I definitely really can recommend it. We had a great time, and also the cool thing is they take you from El Nido to Coron, where you would usually have to take a ferry that is also fairly expensive, I believe like $30 or $40. And yeah, we arrived in Coron, spent a few days there, and then we have been heading out to Boracay. And you see, the thing is, either you go back from Coron to El Nido, then take again the bus and go to the budget airport, and all of that would have costed us pretty much the same amount as taking the small little budget private airline, and we paid, I believe, close to $100, which for me is the most expensive domestic flight that I ever took. But at that point it really made sense. It was pretty much the same amount of money, and I gotta say, the experience has been really unique. Just the views we have been getting from this little small airplane that has been flying pretty low, and I gotta say, it has been a smooth flight going to Boracay. Boracay, the most, I would say, famous island in the Philippines, and without a doubt, arriving there, paying your environmental fees, you usually have to pay them everywhere. Sometimes they're as low as like 20, 30 pesos, so not even $1. I believe there was a little bit more than that. Jumping on a tricycle, also a very common transportation form in the Philippines. In touristy areas, they're usually going to charge you around 100 pesos, which is like $2, but the local price is at around 20. Some of the places we got to pay that as well per person, so that is just pretty much 20-30 cents, very, very affordable. And in Boracay, I do have to say, the beach is absolutely amazing. They have done a great job cleaning it up, but also the prices is probably the highest that I have so far experienced in the Philippines. You still can get a few good deals, but just for a breakfast you can expect to pay around $10 if you want to have a full package. We went out to eat at this one Sunnyside Cafe, and while it has been nice, I do have to say that the prices are pretty high, especially for Southeast Asia, also for the Philippines, and obviously that is connected to a lot of tourists from the West, from other more wealthy Asian countries. So the prices there are really high. But overall, for me personally, it has been a little bit too busy, a little bit too much going on, a little bit too industrialized overall, and more of a vacation spot. I would say it's great for families or just for someone who's looking for a vacation. And even though the nature is absolutely amazing, it has not been one of my favorite places. So you really have to know what you want to do and if Boracay suits your needs. And also, if you go into Boracay, if you want to have the full experience, you do have to be ready to pay a little bit more. But one thing that I can mention in Boracay that is actually very affordable is the gym, the Fisherman's Gym, I believe that's how it's called. For like, I believe 80 pesos, a little bit over $1, $1.50, you can get a great workout in a really local gym with great atmosphere. They have everything you need, so highly recommended. On a budget, good workout. So moving on from Boracay, we went on to Cebu City. Once again, got a Grab taxi to our apartment in a very good area, but this time a lot more affordable. For a little over $20, we got to stay at a small, cute little apartment, and this is where also my solo travel journey started out, you could say. My girlfriend went back home and I've been visiting some of the surrounding areas of Cebu with a scooter, and then I left on one of the many surrounding islands, the Bantayan Island. So I took a bus for I think again like 400 pesos going all the way up on the Cebu Island, then a ferry for a few dollars, and then I found myself on Bantayan Island. And to summarize this experience, it was the most affordable island within this trip. It hasn't been as touristy, few people have been there, a few little hostels, a few really cool hotels, so there has been like one touristy area, and everything there has been a lot more affordable. So just eating out at quite a nice place have been like $2-3 instead of, as I mentioned before, 5 or 8. And that for me really goes to show that it highly depends on where you go. Even though this has been somewhat of a developed area, it has been really affordable. And for me, that really personally goes to show that it really depends on what island are you traveling to. Some are a lot more affordable than others, especially the ones that are less touristy, less known yet, where you can get the local prices. And overall, Bantayan Island, the bluest of waters. I've been staying at a hostel for I believe $6 or $7. That has been really cool. I can really recommend it. Casa Isabel it was called. And with some of my people from the hostel, we actually rented out a boat. We did a tour with them. Everyone paid just like $4 or $5. We went to the Virgin Island. Once again, breathtaking nature, absolutely amazing beach. And I think these few days have been really some of the most affordable days during the whole trip. So this pretty much has been the full itinerary to my last trip to the Philippines. I hope I was able to give you a few ideas of maybe where to travel, what type of cost you can expect, and especially the discrepancy between different places and different prices that I feel like is important to keep in mind depending on where you want to go, what type of experience you want to have. And I guess at the end of the day, after watching this video, you know why I like it so much. Most amazing nature, great vibes, music is playing everywhere. And talking about music, once again, Epidemic Sounds. The first link in the description for a 30-day free trial for everyone who's doing maybe YouTube videos or any creative work. I get asked all the time where I get my music from, and this is pretty much the place. And if you're new here, my name is Danny, and here on the channel I talk about travel, health, and mindset. And basically, I talk about building the right habits in terms of health, finance, to take control of your life, to live a more fulfilled life, and I just take you along on the journey of me embarking on that process. So if that sounds interesting to you, make sure to subscribe if you haven't yet, and we're gonna see each other in the next one. Until then, you got a world to see.
Oh, yeah.